Hello, my crew. The one who got called crazy so many times you started to believe it. Come here, lean in for a second, let's talk. Because today, something shifted in your universe. Someone finally picked up the puzzle pieces everyone kept stomping on, and they put them together. Proof, receipts, evidence, whatever you want to call it. You weren't crazy, and now, they're coming for your justice. You remember how it started, right? You spoke up. You said something's wrong here. And what did they do? They laughed. They rolled their eyes. They said you were overreacting, too sensitive, dramatic. They slapped labels on your forehead like name tags. Paranoid, unstable, bitter. You were the only one in the room smelling smoke, while everyone else insisted, no fire here, you're just imagining it. You said they're lying. They said, you're confused. You said, this is abuse. They said, you're making it up. You said, I saw what happened. They said, you need help. And little by little, that's the part that really hurts, isn't it? You started to wonder, wait, am I crazy? You replayed every conversation at 3 a.m. You stared at the ceiling, rewriting history in your head, trying to figure out where you went wrong. You wrote paragraphs you never sent. You typed, deleted, typed again. You cried in bathrooms so nobody would see. You practiced being chill, being less much, being smaller, just to survive another day around people who built their comfort on top of your doubt. They were building a whole mansion on your silence. And here's the sick part. They didn't just ignore you. They performed innocence. They put on that I care about you face. They told others, I'm really worried about them. They're not okay mentally. They spun this little narrative where they're the hero who tried their best, and you're the ungrateful, unstable villain. Gaslighting. That word doesn't even feel big enough for what they did to you. They didn't just mess with your mind. They tried to rewrite your entire reality. And you sat there, questioning your own memory like it was a glitchy video you couldn't fully trust. But here's where it gets interesting. Because while they were running around, smiling in public and stabbing in private, someone else was watching. Someone else was paying attention to the things everyone dismissed. Someone else took screenshots, saved voice notes, remembered dates, details, timelines. Someone noticed the way their stories never lined up. The way they slipped up when they thought nobody was paying attention. The way your version stayed consistent, even when you were shaking, even when you were exhausted, even when you had every reason to just shut up and move on. And that person, yeah, that someone, they finally said, no, they're not crazy. I can prove it. You know what that moment is? That's your reality snapping back into place. All those times you stared at yourself in the mirror asking, maybe I really am the problem. All those breakdowns you had in secret, so you'd still seem functional in front of everyone else. That moment just walked in the room like, nope, you were right. They were wrong. And that hits deep, doesn't it? Because you didn't just lose arguments. You lost years of self-trust. You lost friendships that chose the easy story over the true one. You lost sleep, appetite, confidence. Maybe you even lost pieces of your career, your family, your sanity. You swallowed so much disrespect just to keep the peace that it started to taste normal. Let me ask you something ugly. How many times did you apologize for things that weren't your fault? How many times did you text, I'm sorry if I misunderstood, when deep down, you knew you didn't misunderstand a damn thing? How many times did you walk away from a conversation thinking, why does it always end with me feeling like the villain? You bent yourself into origami just to fit inside their version of events. You made your truth smaller, softer, quieter, so you wouldn't cause drama. But here's the punchline. They were the ones writing the script. You were just trying to survive inside it. And now the script is cracked wide open. There's video, there's audio, there are messages, there's documentation, there are witnesses, there's a timeline that only makes sense if you were right from the start. You know what that means? That crazy label. It was never yours to carry. They stapled it onto you because that was easier than looking in the mirror. So listen to me, because this part is important. You weren't crazy. You were early. You saw the problem before everyone else wanted to admit it existed. You saw the cracks in their halo. You saw the monster behind their smile. You weren't unstable. You were awake. And awake people are dangerous in a world that runs on lies. Now there's someone with evidence. Someone who's not just shrugging and saying, that's messed up. Someone who's saying, I'm willing to go all the way with this. I'm willing to stand next to you. I'm willing to fight. Do you understand how rare that is? Most people see injustice and go, damn, that's crazy. Scroll, swipe, move on. But this one stayed. This one collected proof. This one chose you over convenience. They're not just showing up with words. They're showing up with receipts. And now they're coming for your justice. But here's the twist. Justice isn't just them getting caught. Justice isn't just some legal outcome or public exposure. Justice starts inside you, because for so long, you internalized their version of you. The too much, the overdramatic, the broken one, the unstable one. So even if the whole world suddenly says, wow, you were right, if you don't update that story in your own head, you'll still walk around like the accused. But you're not on trial anymore. You're the witness. You're the survivor. You're the one who made it through the psychological war zone and still remembers what actually happened. You're not the villain in this narrative. You're the glitch in their script that refused to be edited out. Let's talk about that rage boiling in your chest, though, because I know it's there. The part of you that thinks, greater than if this proof existed all along. Greater than why did I have to go through all that alone? Where was this person when you cried yourself to sleep? Where was this evidence when you were getting side-eyed and whispered about? Where was justice when your name was getting dragged while theirs stayed clean? It's okay to feel angry about that. That's not you being negative. That's your nervous system finally realizing I wasn't the broken one. Something was done to me. You have every right to be furious, but don't let that fury eat you from the inside. Aim it, point it, use it. That rage, that's energy. And energy can either explode randomly or be focused like a laser. This is where the Joker part comes in, yeah? Because the world expects you to just take the apology, take the oh wow you were right, and calmly move on like nothing happened. Smile. Be gracious. Be the bigger person. Shake hands. Accept the half-hearted "we didn't know" from people who never bothered to ask. But you're not going back to playing that polite little role. You're not going back into the box they buried you in. You're not interested in being the quiet, tidy version of yourself who doesn't make anyone uncomfortable. You've seen too much to go back to small. You know what happens when proof finally lands on the table? all their little stories start to fall apart. The lies don't line up. The masks crack. The fake concern, the fake innocence, the fake confusion. It all starts to look ridiculous under the light of evidence. Suddenly the people who called you crazy are stumbling over their own words. Suddenly the ones who said, "That doesn't sound like them," are watching a video of exactly them doing exactly what you described. Suddenly the "let's not jump to conclusions" crowd is face to face with conclusions they can't escape. And you're standing there like, "This is what I was screaming about while you told me to calm down." But here's the real power move. You don't use this moment to prove you're normal. You don't use this moment to beg to be accepted back into their little circle. You don't use this moment to say, "See, I'm not crazy. Please like me again." No. This is where you evolve past caring, whether they like you at all. You don't need their approval anymore. You don't need their validation anymore. You don't need their, "Wow, I misjudged you" confession to sleep at night. You've got something better now. Your own mind back. Justice isn't just them being exposed. Justice is you refusing to shrink back down. Justice is you saying, greater than, "I will never again apologize for seeing clearly." Justice is you trusting your instincts the next time you smell smoke, even if everyone else is saying, "Relax, it's fine." Justice is you walking away at the first sign of manipulation instead of waiting for the fire to reach your room. Justice is you setting boundaries so high they need a ladder to get near you. And you're not handing out ladders anymore. This someone who's coming with proof, they're important, yeah, but don't get it twisted. They're not the hero of your story. You are. Because they saw something, but you lived it. They collected evidence, but you survived the war zone that created it. They're brave for stepping up now. But you were brave when nothing and no one had your back. Don't erase your own courage just because you're finally being believed. You weren't weak all this time. You were strong enough to hold on to your truth in a world that insisted it didn't exist. That's not weakness. That's spine of steel type strength. And look, I know part of you wants revenge. Not just justice, revenge. You want them to lose what you lost. You want them to feel what you felt. You want their world to crack the way yours did. That's human. Don't shame yourself for that, Shadow. You went through hell. It's natural to want the flames to spread. But here's where things get strategic. If you let revenge drive the car, you end up in the same ditch they came from. Because they lied to look powerful. They manipulated to stay in control. They twisted the story to protect their image. You're not here to become them with better evidence. You're here to be different. Let the evidence do what the evidence does. Let the truth burn what it needs to burn. But you focus on building. Building a life where your nervous system isn't constantly braced for impact. Building relationships where being honest doesn't feel dangerous. Building a version of yourself that doesn't flinch every time someone says, "Can we talk?" Think about who you are now compared to who you were before they did all this. Back then, you still thought everyone had good intentions. You gave benefit of the doubt like candy. You ignored red flags because you didn't want to be negative. Now, you read energy. You catch patterns. You notice contradictions. You hear what people don't say. You're not naive anymore. And yeah, that hurts. But it also protects you. You're sharper. You're wiser. You're less easily fooled. That's part of your justice, too. you're harder to break now. So this is what I want you to do with this moment. When you hear, "We have proof," when you see the screenshots, the recordings, the files, I want you to let something inside you unclench. You've been holding your breath for years. You've been living in defensive mode, constantly asking, am I overreacting? Am I making this up? Is it really that bad? Let this moment answer that. You are not imagining it. You are not exaggerating. You are not unstable. You are outnumbered. You are outvoted. You are outtalked. You are outperformed by people who lie better than you pretend. That's all. From now on, when your gut speaks, you don't argue with it. You don't gaslight yourself on their behalf. If something feels off, you don't need a full courtroom of witnesses to justify walking away. You've already lived the consequences of ignoring your intuition. You don't need another round. And remember this, someone stepped up for you now because somewhere, deep down, you never fully abandoned yourself. You may have doubted, you may have broken down, you may have gone quiet, but you never completely erased your truth. And that small, stubborn part of you, the one that kept saying, "No, I know what I lived through," that part attracted the person who finally said, "I see it too, I've got your back." That's your spirit refusing to die. That's your mind refusing to be rewritten. You held on long enough for the proof to catch up. So yeah, they're coming for your justice. They're coming with evidence. They're coming with your name cleared. They're coming with everything they need to dismantle the lie that almost destroyed you. But you're coming for something bigger. You're coming for your power, your voice, your self-respect, your peace. You're coming for a life where you don't twist yourself into knots, trying to be believable to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You're not here to convince anyone anymore. You're here to be, unapologetically, honest, sharp, aware, uncomfortable for liars, a walking reminder that the truth can survive being ignored, denied, mocked, and buried. Because look at you. They tried to make you doubt your own mind. And you're still here. You're still here. And that alone ruins their whole script. You were supposed to fold. You were supposed to shut up, disappear, maybe even self-destruct a little. You were supposed to turn on yourself so hard that they never had to face what they did. Instead, you're sitting here, listening, breathing, with your mind slowly clicking back into place. That scares them more than any screenshot on Earth. Because think about it for a second. They didn't just attack your story. They tried to assassinate your sense of reality. And a person who gets their reality back, they don't go back to regular programming. You walked through psychological warfare with nothing but your gut and sheer stubbornness, and somehow you still came out with a pulse and a memory. That alone already makes you different from the version of you they thought they were breaking. You know those people who say, "It wasn't that deep." Yeah, it was that deep. It was deep when you started doubting your own memory. It was deep when you stared at a text thread and thought, "Did I imagine the tone?" It was deep when you felt insane for reacting to something that was actually insane. It was deep when your body flinched before your brain could explain why. Every time they brushed off what hurt you, a part of you learned, my pain doesn't matter. Every time they twisted what happened, a part of you learned, my perception can't be trusted. Every time they acted like you were extra, a part of you learned, maybe I'm broken. You didn't just lose trust in them, You lost trust in yourself. And that's the part that hits hardest when the evidence finally shows up. Because when someone comes in with proof, saying, "You were right," you're not just thinking, "Wow, they were lying." You're thinking, "I've been carrying their lie inside my head for years." That's why your hands shake. That's why your chest feels weirdly tight and hollow at the same time. That's why a part of you wants to cry and laugh and scream all at once. Your nervous system is trying to reboot after being gaslit into blue screening. You were running corrupted software the whole time. Their voice, disguised as your inner critic. You're dramatic. You're unstable. You're the problem. It talked in your voice, but it wasn't yours. And as soon as proof shows up, there's this tiny electric moment where it glitches. That voice stutters. It goes, "Wait, what if I'm not the problem?" That's the moment I'm interested in, because that's the doorway. You know what really messes them up? Not the evidence itself, not the messages, not the recordings. It's you, refusing to collapse when their mask finally slips. They expect you to be either completely destroyed and useless or bloodthirsty and reckless. Both of those make you easy to dismiss. If you're a wreck, they point and say, "See? Unstable." If you're wild with revenge energy, they say, "See? Dangerous." You being clear, grounded, calm in a dark, unsettling way, that terrifies them. There's a kind of quiet that's scarier than shouting. You're stepping into that. You're not deranged. You're not foaming at the mouth. You're just done playing dumb for their comfort. It's that energy of greater than "I see everything now," greater than "I remember everything," greater than "and I'm not gaslighting myself about it anymore." That's Joker energy right there. Not the cartoon chaos, the unnerving clarity, the part of you that looks at the whole situation and goes, "Oh, the game was rigged from the beginning." All those times they forgot what they said. All those "I never said that" moments. All those "you're twisting my words" accusations. You weren't crazy. You were talking to someone who edits reality mid-sentence. And you kept trying to have a logical conversation inside their funhouse mirror. Every time you said, "Look, this hurt me," they didn't address the hurt. They attacked your ability to feel hurt. You were playing chess. They flipped the board and blamed you for the mess on the floor. Now the receipts are sitting there like, "Actually, here's the board. Here's every move. Here's the exact moment they lied." You know what that does? That gives you back context. You stop wondering if you overreacted. You stop digging through your own memories like a crime scene. You stop asking, "Was I too harsh?" and start asking, "How did they manage to sleep at night?" And something inside you straightens its back. You start seeing your old self with different eyes. That version of you that kept speaking up. You used to cringe thinking about them. You used to think, "Why couldn't I just stay quiet?" Look again. They weren't embarrassing. They were brave. They were outnumbered, shaking, not fully believing themselves anymore. And they still said, "This isn't right." That's not crazy. That's courage. The world loves calling people crazy when they don't fold correctly. You didn't collapse on cue. You didn't break in a way that made anyone else comfortable. You got loud at the wrong time. You cried in the wrong room. You told the truth to the wrong person. You messed up the vibe. They weren't trying to protect truth. They were trying to protect comfort. Your voice was bad for business. Apologies are expensive. Accountability is expensive. Admitting you were wrong costs ego, status, control. Easier to shove you into the unstable box and move on. And yet, here you are, with proof landing like a hammer on the glass. Kind of funny, right? They gambled everything on you never being believed. And the universe handed someone the exact receipts they never wanted to exist. There's another layer to this that eats at you. The people who watched and stayed quiet. Not the main villain, the side characters. The ones who saw things, heard things, felt in their gut that something was off. But they chose silence over discomfort. You begged them with your eyes. You hinted. You vented in half sentences. You dropped little pieces of the truth to see if anyone would catch them. They shrugged. They changed the subject. They said, "Yeah, that sounds rough," and went back to their life. And you felt abandoned by people who technically didn't do anything. That didn't do anything is exactly the problem. Silence is never neutral. It always tips the scale toward whoever has the most power. You were screaming underwater while they stood poolside saying, "I don't really want to pick sides." And now evidence is here, and suddenly people want to act shocked. Wow, I had no idea. It didn't seem that serious. If I'd known it was that bad. You did know. You just didn't want to get your hands dirty. And yeah, that stings. It makes your chest feel weird. Good. You made it here. Not by accident, not by luck, not because life suddenly got soft and rolled out some red carpet for you. No. You made it here because some part of you is still awake. Some part of you still feels the sting, still remembers the lie, still hears the silence after the truth came out, still feels that cold little shift in the room when the person who knew everything finally said it. And then everybody looked at you like you were invisible, like you were a glitch, like your pain was bad for the aesthetic, like your existence was inconvenient. That kind of betrayal hits different, doesn't it? Because when somebody lies on you, that hurts. When somebody talks behind your back, that hurts. When somebody manipulates the story, twists the facts, rewrites the scene to make themselves look clean and make you look crazy. Yeah, that hurts too. But when someone who knew the whole truth finally opens their mouth, finally says what really happened, finally exposes the rot, and then the same people around you still act like you don't exist, that does something to your soul. That's not regular pain. That's psychological warfare, because now you're not just dealing with what they did to you. You're dealing with what they're doing after the truth gets exposed. You're dealing with the performance, the image management, the fake concern, the selective memory, the weird little smiles, the fake peace, the whole circus of people trying to keep their comfort while your reality gets shoved into a dark corner like it never mattered. And that's where most people break. Not when they're attacked, not when they're lied on, not when they're betrayed. They break when the truth comes out. And nothing changes. That's the part nobody prepares you for. Nobody prepares you for the moment when you realize people don't just fear lies. They fear truth, too. Especially truth that makes them look weak. Truth that exposes what they enabled. Truth that proves you weren't overreacting. Truth that ruins the clean little version of reality they sold to everyone. See, people love truth when it's poetic. They love truth when it's trending. They love truth when it makes them feel deep and righteous and evolved. But when truth demands accountability, when truth forces people to admit they picked the wrong side, when truth reveals that they watched you suffer and said nothing, suddenly everybody gets quiet. Suddenly everybody gets confused. Suddenly nobody remembers. You know why? Because your existence is evidence. That's why they're acting like you don't exist. You're not being ignored because you're weak. You're being ignored because your presence is loud. You are proof. Proof that the mask slipped. Proof that the damage was real. Proof that somebody knew exactly what was happening and stayed quiet until it was safe to speak. Proof that the room was never innocent, and people hate living next to proof. Proof makes sleep hard. Proof makes fake friendships feel heavy. Proof makes casual conversations feel guilty. Proof makes every "I didn't know" sound stupid. So what do? They erase, they minimize, they rebrand, they move on too fast. They start posting peace quotes. They act spiritually mature. They say weird things like, "Let's not live in the past," when the past is still bleeding into your present. They tell you to heal in silence because your honesty makes them itch. They call your memory bitterness because they need language that protects them from your clarity. And let me tell you something you need to hear deep in your chest. You are not hard to love because you remember. You are not broken because you still feel it. You are not dramatic because it changed you. You are not toxic because you stopped smiling around people who played dumb while your world was burning. You're awake. That's all. You're awake in a room full of people addicted to pretending. And being awake in a fake world will make you look dangerous. Not because you are cruel, not because you are heartless, but because you can see. And once you can see, you stop playing along. You stop laughing on cue. You stop swallowing disrespect just to keep the peace. You stop shrinking to make other people feel less guilty. You stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You stop handing out pieces of your spirit to people who only show up when your silence is convenient. That's when they start calling you different. Cold, intense, too much, hard to read, hard to reach, hard to handle. Good. Be hard to handle when they handled you carelessly. Be hard to read when they read your kindness as weakness. Be hard to reach when they only reached for you, when they needed your energy, your loyalty, your patience, your forgiveness, your benefit of the doubt. You spent too much of your life being understandable to people who never even tried to understand you. And that's over. Let that version of you die. Not the good in you, not the heart in you, not the soul in you. Let the begging die. Let the over-explaining die. Let the constant need to prove your pain was real die. Let the version of you that keeps returning to the scene, hoping somebody will finally say, "You were right. We failed you. We see it now." Let that version die if it needs to, because some apologies never come in words. Sometimes the truth coming out was the apology. Sometimes their guilt is the apology. Sometimes their distance is the apology. Sometimes the way they can't look you in the eye anymore is the apology. Sometimes the way they act like you don't exist is the clearest confession you were ever going to get. Read that right. Their avoidance is not proof you imagined it. Their silence is not proof you were wrong. Their weird energy around you is not random. Their fake indifference is not peace. It is pressure, because they know, and you know they know, and they know you know they know. That kind of tension drives cowards insane. So they will do anything to make you doubt yourself again. They'll smile in your face and act normal. They'll tell half the story. They'll leave out names. They'll leave out timing. They'll leave out context. They'll say mistakes were made when specific people made deliberate choices. They'll talk about miscommunication because betrayal is too honest. They'll say everybody was hurting because that spreads the blame thin enough to protect the guilty. They'll call it messy because calling it evil would ruin too many relationships. And if you're not careful, you'll start choking on their version of events. You'll start wondering if maybe you should calm down, move on, stop being so intense, stop making people uncomfortable, stop carrying that look in your eyes like you've seen the back of human nature and you can't unsee it. Don't do that to yourself. Do not betray yourself just because the room is committed to betrayal. That is the trap. The trap is not just what they did. The trap is getting you to participate in your own erasure, getting you to talk softer about what shattered you, getting you to soften the language, getting you to water down the story, getting you to edit your memory so they can breathe easier, getting you to say, "It's okay," when it rewired your trust, getting you to say, "I'm over it," when it still wakes something violent in your nervous system every time you see fake smiles and polished lies. Listen carefully. You do not owe peace to people who fed you chaos. You do not owe access to people who mishandled intimacy. You do not owe warmth to people who went cold when the truth needed witnesses. You do not owe your voice to people who only hear you when you whisper. You do not owe your softness to a world that kept testing whether your pain had a limit. And let's get really honest for a second. Part of what hurts so much is not just that they betrayed you. It's that you were real. You were really there, really loyal, really showing up, really trying, really giving grace, really believing people meant what they said, really trying to make sense of nonsense because your heart didn't want to accept that some people can look you dead in the eyes, take your trust with both hands, and still choose themselves over your humanity. That's what wrecked you, not weakness, purity. You got damaged because you came in real, and the world will punish real people at first. It will test them, drain them, humiliate them, make them question everything. It will hand microphones to liars and tell truth-tellers to be patient. It will reward masks and isolate anyone who says, "No, that's not what happened." But here's the part they never see coming. Pain either buries you or it introduces you to your final form, and you, right now, standing in the ashes of being erased, ignored, minimized, and talked around, you are at that line. You can either keep begging dead souls to recognize your existence, or you can become so undeniable that their denial starts sounding pathetic. You can keep staring at the people who turned away, or you can turn inward and build something so solid that nobody gets to define you by what they refused to acknowledge. You can keep trying to resurrect old loyalty, or you can become the kind of force that no longer needs permission to rise. That's the shift. That's the switch. That's the moment where your pain stops being a prison and starts becoming a weapon. Not a weapon you use to destroy random people. No. A weapon you use to cut illusions, to sever weak attachments, to stop crawling back to people who already showed you their ceiling, to stop romanticizing broken dynamics just because there were a few good moments mixed in with the disrespect, to stop chasing closure from people whose entire personality is avoiding consequences. Closure is not always a conversation. Sometimes closure is the day you stop caring whether they understand what they lost. Sometimes closure is discipline, waking up when you don't feel like it, working when your chest is heavy, building when your confidence is bruised, learning when your mind is tired, walking away when every trauma in you wants to stay and fix it, keeping your standards high, even when loneliness whispers that being chosen badly is better than being alone powerfully. That whisper is a liar. Loneliness never destroyed you the way fake love did. Silence never played with your mind the way mixed signals did. Solitude never made you feel crazy the way betrayal did. You need to remember that. Being alone is not the worst thing. Being surrounded by people who need you invisible is worse. Being with people who only tolerate you when you stay quiet is worse. Being loved conditionally is worse. Being remembered only when your usefulness is needed is worse. Being included only when your truth is edited is worse. So stop fearing the clean cut. Some exits feel brutal because your soul knows it should have happened sooner. And when you leave, really leave. Don't leave physically and stay emotionally. Don't block them and still worship the memory. Don't distance yourself and still rehearse imaginary conversations in your head where they finally become the person you needed. Don't call it healing if you're still secretly hoping they transform. See people as they are, not as they could be, not as they were on their best day, not as they might become if life humbles them. As they are. That one skill alone will save you years, because the truth is, a lot of people don't want connection. They want access. They don't want honesty. They want optics. They don't want peace. They want control. They don't want love. They want someone loyal enough to survive their disrespect without leaving. And when you stop surviving it, they call you the villain. Wear it if you have to. Every person who escaped a toxic system got called difficult by the people benefiting from their silence. Every person who broke a manipulative cycle got labeled selfish by the ones losing control. Every person who refused to stay easy to consume got called arrogant by those who were used to unlimited access. Let them talk. Their language is not law. Their version is not reality. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. And don't miss the beauty in this dark little turning point you're standing in. You finally see what people do when truth becomes expensive. That knowledge is worth blood, because now you know who folds under pressure. Now you know who performs support, but disappears when it matters. Now you know who only speaks once it's socially safe. Now you know who watched the damage and calculated their own image first. Now you know who only stands near the truth when there's applause attached to it. That is sacred information. Don't waste it by going back blind. Take that information and sharpen your standards. Sharpen your attention. Sharpen your boundaries. Sharpen your routines. Sharpen your instinct. Sharpen your life until the version of you they erased becomes the version of you they can never touch again. And yes, it's going to feel brutal, because growth after betrayal is ugly before it's powerful. There will be nights when your mind spins, mornings when your body feels like lead, moments when a random song, smell, phrase, or memory will yank you back into the ache. Moments when you'll wonder if all this toughness is making you less human. It's not. You are not becoming less human. You are becoming less available to disrespect. Huge difference. You are not losing your heart. You are learning where not to place it. You are not becoming bitter. You are becoming accurate. You are not becoming cruel. You are becoming selective. That's maturity in a world that worships performance and punishes discernment. And one more thing. Do not underestimate what happens when a person like you stops waiting to be seen and starts building anyway. That is terrifying to the people who dismissed you, because as long as you were begging to be recognized, you were still orbiting them, still tied to their reaction, still trapped in their gravity. But the second you start moving without needing their validation, the second you stop checking whether they noticed your absence, the second you stop performing your pain for people who already chose not to care, your energy changes. Now you're dangerous. Now you're no longer a wound walking around asking to be understood. Now you're a creator, a builder, a force, a presence, a storm with discipline, a survivor with taste, a mind that learned the pattern, a soul that got dragged through hell and came back with better eyesight. That kind of transformation cannot be ignored forever. They may pretend not to see you now. They may act casual now. They may scroll past your name now. They may talk around your impact now. They may sit in rooms where your truth is the silent elephant in the middle and still play dumb now. But the life you build from this point forward will speak in a language denial cannot cover. Your peace will speak. Your standards will speak. Your results will speak. Your detachment will speak. Your refusal to return to what broke you will speak. Your glow will speak. Your discipline will speak. The way you no longer explain yourself to clowns will speak. The way your eyes stop begging and start assessing will speak. And let me make this painfully clear. The goal is not revenge. Revenge keeps you spiritually chained to people beneath you. The goal is elevation so intense that the chapter where they erased you becomes the chapter that introduced your power. The goal is to become so rooted in yourself that when somebody acts like you don't exist, you don't crumble. You smirk, because you know what they're really saying is this: you remind me of what I did. You remind me of what I allowed. You remind me that I saw the truth and still failed. You remind me that I cannot rewrite reality as easily as I hoped. That's what their indifference is hiding. So stop reading their distance as rejection. Read it as exposure. Stop reading their silence as your insignificance. Read it as evidence. Stop reading their avoidance as your loss. Read it as their weakness. And keep moving. Move with precision. Move with restraint. Move with fire under the skin and ice in the decisions. Move like somebody who has nothing left to prove and everything left to build. Move like somebody who learned the hard way that being underestimated is a gift when your next season is lethal. Move like somebody who no longer confuses attention with respect. Move like somebody who has finally accepted that some people will never clap for your healing because your healing reminds them of the damage. Fine. Heal louder. Grow colder where it counts. Love smarter. Choose slower. Detach cleaner. Protect your mind like it prints gold. Protect your heart like it survived a war. Protect your future like it's the one thing in this life nobody gets to contaminate again. And when the memory comes back, when that old sting hits, when you remember the moment somebody who knew the whole truth finally said it, and the room still chose comfort over character, don't collapse. Remember what that moment really was. It was the death of illusion. It was the funeral for your naivety. It was the breaking point that revealed your threshold. It was the day the world showed you exactly how fake it can get when accountability enters the room. It was the day you stopped expecting fairness from weak people. It was the day you learned that truth does not always change the crowd, but it can change you. It can sharpen you. It can wake you. It can strip the softness that made you easy to exploit and replace it with something rarer, self-respect. And once self-respect locks in, everything changes. Now you don't chase. Now you observe. Now you don't beg. Now you decide. Now you don't force. Now you filter. Now you don't break just because somebody refused to see your worth. Now you measure people by consistency, not chemistry. Now you trust patterns, not promises. Now you understand that the people meant for your life will never need your disappearance to protect their comfort. Let the others keep acting. Let them keep pretending. Let them keep editing. Let them keep smiling that fake little smile and talking in circles and avoiding specifics and dressing cowardice up as peace. Meanwhile, you build. You build a body they can't drain. You build a mind they can't confuse. You build a life they can't access. You build habits that drag you out of emotional fog. You build standards that make low-level behavior obvious. You build discipline so strong that even on your worst day, you still move. You build faith in yourself so deep that being overlooked no longer feels like death. You build such a powerful relationship with your own truth that no crowd, no silence, no fake narrative, no strategic forgetting can take your name out of your own mouth ever again. That is how you win this. Not by screaming until they admit it. Not by bleeding in public until they finally feel bad. Not by stalking old wounds and begging the past to turn human. You win by becoming ungovernable, by betrayal. You win by making your inner world too solid to be shaken by people who live off performance. You win by refusing to let their inability to face truth become your lifelong identity. You win by turning the darkest thing they did into the reason you became impossible to play with. You win by becoming the kind of person who can stand in a room full of denial, feel the tension, see the masks, and still remain fully, powerfully, unapologetically real. Because you exist. You existed when they lied. You existed when they watched. You existed when the truth came out. You existed when they turned their faces. You existed when they acted like your pain was too inconvenient to acknowledge. You existed through every ugly little moment of selective memory and fake peace and polished avoidance. And now you exist on purpose. Now you exist with teeth. Now you exist with boundaries. Now you exist with vision. Now you exist with memory intact. Now you exist without asking anybody for permission to take up space. Now you exist without shrinking for the comfort of people who were fine watching you disappear. Now you exist in full view of the truth, and that truth is no longer a wound in your hands. It's a blade in your grip, and you're finally learning how to carry it. Listen up, you misunderstood masterpiece. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You with the tired eyes. You with the receipts in your phone and the accusations in your name. You with a whole community acting like your existence is some kind of group project they have to destroy. Good. Perfect. Because that means something they don't want to admit. You are a threat, and not the kind they can cancel with a few whispers or a fake "we're just concerned" conversation. No. You're the kind of threat that makes insecure people feel the heat of the Most High shining on you, and they panic. They scramble. They form committees. They start group chats with your name in it. They become experts on your life overnight, all because the Most High put something on you that they can't compete with. Let's talk about that community, yeah. The one that won't stop attacking you. They don't let up. They don't get tired. They don't move on. They wake up, think of you. They scroll, think of you. They see anything remotely related to your lane, your energy, your calling, and boom, there you are, rent-free, kicking your feet up in their mind, and they'll say, "We don't like them." But the truth is uglier. They are obsessed with you. You know what's funny? People don't obsess over what's irrelevant. No one organizes a smear campaign against a paper cup. They only mob up when they sense oil on someone. They only gather when they smell anointing. You've noticed it, haven't you? How the attacks stop being about what you actually did a long time ago. At first, maybe it was. You changed. You think you're better now. You're moving weird. Then it turned into something else. They start reaching. They twist stories. They rewrite history, cast you as the villain in a movie they directed, produced, and starred in. And you're sitting there like, wait, I'm the villain? In a story where I was the only one actually trying? Here's the thing. Villain status is only given to people powerful enough to disrupt the script. And the Most High, he doesn't waste anointing on background characters. Let me say this in a way your nervous system can actually hear it. You're not under attack because you're wrong. You're under attack because you're right. And early. You're not catching heat because you're weak. You're catching heat because you are carrying something they do not have the capacity, maturity, or courage to carry. They don't hate your attitude. They hate the evidence of God's hand on you. They don't hate your tone. They hate that no matter how they talk about you, you're still protected. They don't hate your choices. They hate that the Most High keeps giving you grace in spite of your mistakes, while they're stuck polishing their image and still feeling empty. Let's be real for a second. You felt it, right? That deep, heavy, why me feeling. You sit there some days, scrolling, replaying conversations, thinking, if I'm so anointed, why does it hurt this much? If I'm chosen, why do I feel abandoned? If the Most High is for me, why does it look like everyone else is winning while I'm getting dragged? You think being anointed means you get a cute little highlight reel and applause. No. Being anointed means you become the lesson plan. Your life becomes the classroom where the Most High teaches everyone around you who He is, how He moves, and what happens when people mishandle what He's chosen. And right now, they're in class. They just don't know it yet. Pay attention to the pattern. First they laugh at you, then they question you, then they isolate you, then they attack you, then slowly they start using your language. They start copying your ideas. They start walking in the very direction they mocked you for taking. And they don't apologize. They don't circle back. They just quietly shift, hoping you don't notice. But the Most High noticed. He watched every eye roll, every group chat, every fake pray for them message that was really just gossip with a religious filter on it. Every time they weaponized your vulnerability, every time they called you crazy when you were just waking up, you thought God was silent. He was documenting. Let's zoom in on you for a second, because it's easy to talk about them and skip over what's happening inside you. You're exhausted, not just physically, soul tired. You've questioned your sanity. You've questioned your faith. You've questioned if you're the problem. You've sat there trying to reverse engineer yourself. Maybe if I talk softer. Maybe if I shrink a little more. Maybe if I don't shine so bright. Maybe if I make myself more palatable, more digestible, more, less. And still, what happens? They come. They still come. They still nitpick. They still twist. They still project. Because it was never about you being too much. It was always about you being too called. Let me tell you something harsh but necessary. If you keep editing yourself to please people who are committed to misunderstanding you, you're not being humble. You're being disobedient. Disobedient to what the Most High put inside you. Disobedient to the mission on your name. Disobedient to the version of you that's supposed to stand up, not keep apologizing for existing. Humility is not you shrinking to make cowards comfortable. Humility is you admitting, yeah, I'm anointed, and I didn't give that to myself. The Most High did. It's not arrogance to recognize the oil on your life. It's arrogance to pretend it's not there just so insecure people can stop feeling triggered. You want to know why that community won't stop attacking you? Here's the punchline: because they can see where you're going before you can. Spirit recognizes spirit, even when the heart is rotten. There's a part of them that can feel your future, and it freaks them out. So they do the only thing frightened, powerless people know how to do. They team up. They point fingers. They create narratives. They mislabel you. They try to assassinate your character since they can't touch your calling. They think they're stopping you. They're actually advertising you. Every attack is a flyer. Every lie is a loudspeaker. Every smear is free promo for the hand of the Most High on your life. You notice how the attacks got worse when you started healing. When you started saying no more often. When you started putting boundaries in place. When you stopped being the compliant little yes person. When you stopped volunteering to be the emotional dumpster. The moment you stopped playing the role they wrote for you and started acting in the role the Most High wrote for you. They panicked. You're not just breaking patterns. You're breaking agreements they made with each other about who you're supposed to be. They agreed without your permission. You're the quiet one. You're the one who takes the blame. You're the one who stays. You're the safe target. And then suddenly, you weren't. You started speaking up. You started distancing yourself. You started leveling up. You started listening to that whisper in your spirit instead of their noise. And the community said, "Oh no, we can't have that. Let's talk about the Most High," forcing them to see you're anointed. Because this is where it gets deliciously uncomfortable for them. You know how they tried to block opportunities for you, tried to poison people against you before they even met you, tried to make you unhireable, undateable, unsupported, unwelcome. They thought if they could control the narrative, they could control your future. But the Most High doesn't need their approval to bless you. He doesn't need their platforms to promote you. He doesn't need their doors to open anything for you. So what happens? They start seeing you walk into rooms they swore you'd never access. They see you connecting with people they tried to keep you away from. They see your name in spaces where they never even got an invitation, and they're confused, bewildered, angry even. How did they get there? Who put them on? The Most High did. This is how he forces them to see your anointing. He blesses you publicly in the same areas they tried to bury you privately. The ones who said no one will ever believe them end up watching people line up to support you. The ones who said they'll never be anything without us end up watching you build something bigger than anything they've ever touched. The ones who said, "Watch, they're gonna fall off," end up having to squint at your glow up from the distance, pretending they don't see it. Oh, but they see it. They see you healing. They see you growing. They see you getting refined. They see you stepping into your calling. They see the Most High backing you in quiet ways and loud ways. Opportunities, alignment, insight, peace in the middle of storms that would have killed them. They see all of it. They just don't know how to admit we were wrong about them. People love to say, if God was really with them, they wouldn't go through all that. Wrong. If God wasn't with you, you would have been finished a long time ago. You know, the stuff you've survived that no one knows about. The battles in your head. The nights you didn't want to be here. The losses that hit you back to back until you forgot what winning felt like. You shouldn't even be functioning at this point. You shouldn't even be sane. And yet, here you are, still moving, still thinking, still feeling, still waking up with this little spark inside that says, there's more for me. You think you created that spark? No, that's the Most High breathing into you, regularly, repeatedly, quietly. That's anointing. Let's get practical, because I'm not just here to hype you up. I'm here to recalibrate you. From this moment on, you need to stop treating every attack like a verdict. Start treating it like a signal. They're not attacking you because something's wrong with you. They're attacking because something is activated in you. The more the pressure increases, the more you should be asking, what is the Most High trying to draw out of me right now? Is it courage? Is it discernment? Is it a spine? Is it a voice? Is it a standard? The same community that thinks they're discrediting you is actually helping you refine your identity. Every lie they tell about you makes you more committed to walking in truth. Every time they push you away, you lean harder into the one who never left. Every time they slam a door, you learn how to build your own. You want to reclaim your power? Here's how. Stop begging for understanding from people who benefit from misunderstanding you. They have invested in the version of you that stays small, confused, apologetic. If you suddenly step into clarity and confidence, they lose their leverage. So yeah, of course, they're going to attack. Of course, they're going to call you different, prideful, fake, changed. Let them. You have changed. You're finally aligning with what the Most High said about you instead of what they decided you're allowed to be. You have to become okay with being the villain in their story to be the vessel in his. And listen, you're not crazy for wanting justice. You've imagined the day people see the truth. You've imagined the moment the lies crash down. You've imagined them having to sit there and watch the Most High exalt the same person they tried to destroy. You've imagined it because something in your spirit knows there's a reversal coming, not because you're perfect, not because you did everything right, but because your heart stayed softer than your scars. You didn't go cold like you could have. You didn't turn petty like you wanted to. You didn't become them to survive them. That matters. The Most High doesn't just look at what they did to you. He looks at what you refuse to become because of it. So yeah, that community is being forced to see you're anointed, forced by the way your life keeps rising after every setback, forced by the way your character keeps maturing while their bitterness festers, forced by the way favor keeps finding you in random places, forced by the way peace keeps showing up in your chest, in situations that should have broken you. They thought exposure meant your downfall. The Most High is using exposure to show very clearly, this one is mine. I put my hand on them. I carried them through what you tried to bury them in. You will see it. You will not be able to deny it. And some of them They'll never say it out loud, but they'll feel it. Every time your name comes up, every time they see your face, every time they hear your story being told without their edits, they'll feel that sting, that conviction, that quiet nagging awareness. We mishandled someone anointed by the Most High. Now here's the part you don't want to hear, but you need to. You don't have to sit around waiting for their apology to walk in your anointing. If they never say sorry, if they never admit what they did, if they never confess how they twisted things, you still move. You still step into what you are called to do. You still build. You still heal. You still show up. Because this story is not about convincing them. It's about obeying Him. The vindication is a byproduct, not the point. So, what do you do now? You stop explaining your calling to people who are committed to playing dumb. You stop watering down your personality so people who hate themselves can tolerate you. You stop circling the same conversations with people who heard you the first time and chose confusion because clarity would require growth. You start talking to the Most High more honestly. You start asking for strategy instead of revenge. You start praying for alignment instead of validation. And you start behaving like someone who is actually anointed. Not perfect, not flawless, but surrendered, obedient, resilient. Someone who gets knocked down and instead of saying, "Why me?" starts saying, "Okay, what are you building in me with this?" You're not just going to survive this, you're going to outlast the narrative. The story they told about you won't age well. The version of you they passed around in whispers will expire. What won't expire is the evidence of the Most High's hand on your life. The fruit, the impact, the peace, the transformation, and that community, the one that wouldn't stop attacking you, they're going to have to sit front row and watch as the very thing they tried to crush becomes the thing the Most High uses to shine a light on who He is. Not because you're flawless, but because you're His. And whether they like it or not, they are being forced to see it. And that hits you on the inside in a way you don't even fully talk about, right? Because on one hand, yeah, you want them to see it. You want them to feel that sting, that realization. But on the other hand, you're sitting there like, all right, what am I supposed to do with all this? Anointing sounds cute on paper. In real life, it feels heavy. It feels like walking around with this invisible spotlight on you that you never asked for. People clock your every move. They misread your silence. They weaponize your honesty. You breathe wrong, and apparently it's a statement. You text late. You don't respond. You set a boundary. Suddenly you're acting brand new, disrespectful, cold, a snake, whatever fits their script that day. And yeah, you get mad. You'd be weird if you didn't. There are days where you replay arguments in the shower, imagining the lines you could have said, the clapbacks, the exposures, the "you got me messed up" paragraph that lives in your drafts. There's a version of you that wants to air it all out. Names, screenshots, timelines, all of it lined up like a courtroom slideshow. That urge in you is real. That fire is real. But your anointing is just as real. And that's where the tension is. The part of you that wants revenge is loud. The part of you that's chosen by the Most High is deeper. You could drag them. You could humiliate them. You could play their game better than them. Yet something in your spirit keeps pulling your hand back. Not because you're weak, because you're different. You're not here to win petty wars. You're here to survive the entire battlefield and still have your soul. There's something funny about how this plays out in regular life. Look at your history. Look at how you were always the one people confided in. How they spilled their darkest secrets to you. How they cried on your shoulder. Then fast forward. Same people who unloaded their pain on your chest turn around and act like you're the problem when you finally stop absorbing their damage. And the community eats it up because it's easier to demonize the person who left than to admit everyone was feeding off them. You were the emotional landfill. They just kept dumping. Negative energy, drama, trauma. You were the strong one. You were resilient. You shrug it off, laugh it off, keep it moving. Except you didn't. You took it home. You carried it in your nervous system, your sleep, your mood. And when you finally said, "I can't keep doing this with y'all," they didn't respond with gratitude. They responded with a smear campaign. That one switched up. They fake woke now. They're distant. They're into weird stuff. Translation: they stopped letting us bleed all over them, and we don't like that. You pulled your energy back, and they labeled it betrayal. Anointed people get called disloyal for choosing survival. There's another part, too. You underestimate how much your existence exposes people. You walk into a room and suddenly folks feel judged, even when you haven't said a word, because your spirit is not on their level of comfort. You're trying to heal. You're trying to grow. You're trying to break cycles. They're trying to stay the same and feel righteous about it. Here's what happens in that clash. Instead of asking, "Why do I feel convicted around this person?" they go, "Who do they think they are?" You're not walking around saying, "I'm better than you." You're walking around saying, "I can't live like this anymore." That sentence alone feels like a threat. It implies there is more than what they've settled for, and nothing exposes complacency like someone refusing to sit in the same old mess. You start changing your habits. They start changing the story. You say, "I'm protecting my peace." They say, "They think they're too good for us." You say, "I'm getting closer to the Most High." They say, "They're in a cult." You say, "I'm healing." They say, "They're weird now." They won't examine themselves, so they dissect you instead. You carry this weird combination of fragility and steel. You cry at stuff other people shrug at. You feel things on a delay sometimes. You'll be fine all day. Then some random memory hits at 11:37 p.m. and you're just staring at the wall like, "Yo, that really happened." And still, you get up. You crack jokes. You encourage others. You try your best to not let your bitterness leak into your kindness. That's not just your personality. That's oil. Because after what you've been through, you should have turned ice cold. You should have turned into a ruthless, detached, manipulative shell. You had every reason. Instead, there's still a softness somewhere in you. Scarred, yeah. Guarded, definitely. But not gone. The Most High looks at that. That's what they can't see from the outside. They see attitude. He sees endurance. They see distance. He sees you trying to stop yourself from exploding. They see changed. He sees evolving. Your story was never going to make sense to people who can't imagine anything beyond the group chat mentality. They understand collective bullying. They understand gossip. They understand clicking up. They understand passive-aggressive posts and subtweets. They don't understand spiritual warfare. They don't understand destiny. They don't understand assignment. You keep trying to explain your anointing in language that only makes sense to people who have none. You say, "I feel called." They say, "Called to what?" You say, I can't do this like everybody else. They say, you think you're special. You say, I feel like the Most High is pulling me out of something. They say, you're just being dramatic.